This week's topic, and all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, if you obey the voice of Hashem inside of you. So, what are you running away from? Shalom everybody, and welcome back. This week's Parsha, Tavo, has some very interesting insights about our journey in life, especially when life feels a lot like we're just running away from things. We're just running away from pain, running away from discomfort, trying to avoid the unnecessary, that which hurts us, that which causes us discomfort. So in this week's Parsha, there's two verses, one on blessing and one on curses, that has the word overtake. So both blessings and curses come to overtake, to catch up to us. And the whole reason is so that we don't have to spend our entire lives running. So the interesting verse that I saw, I'm going to read it in the Hebrew first. Uvau elecha kol habrachot haele, and all these blessings shall come to you. Vehisigucha, and it shall overtake you. Ki tishma b'kol Hashem Elokecha, if you listen to the voice of God speaking through you, right? Okay. And the second verse, Vaya im lo tishma b'kol Hashem Elokecha, and if you do not listen to this voice, lishmor la'asot et kol mitzvotav v'chukotav asher anochi mitzavcha hayom. Okay, and if you do not listen again to the voice and obey the commandments, it says, Uvau alecha kol haklalot ela, and all these curses shall come to you, vehisigucha, and shall overtake you. So the interesting thing is we look, when we study verses, we look at things that are extra, okay? Like redundant, you don't really need it. It could have said all these blessings shall come to you. Why does it have to say it shall come to you and overtake you? And with the curses, why doesn't it say that the curses will come to you if you don't listen, right, to Hashem? So it says it shall come to you and overtake you. So this is the thing that's very interesting, is what does this word mean, overtake you? So on a simple level, it means it will get a hold of you. Overtake you means it will get a hold of you, right? So a lot of questions need to be raised. It's logical that when a curse, when something bad is happening in your life, that you're going to run, that you're going to run away, and it has to kind of pursue you, right? Hisigucha comes from the Hisigucha comes from the word nasag, which means will catch up to you, will reach you, and will finally get you, or you will get it, right? So as we were saying with the curses, it makes sense, it's logical that you would be running and it will have to pursue you and catch up to you and finally reach you, right? What doesn't make sense is the verse that talks about the blessings. Why is it that when God blesses you, it has to chase you? The blessings have to chase you. That doesn't make sense, right? Why would anyone be running? So that's what we're going to look at. Okay, so we're going to look at a commentary, a Hasidic commentary. Everything I'm going to talk about is based on the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, but the teaching is coming through his grandson in this situation. Look at my lights blinking. Wow, something's going on. My house is haunted, man. You see that? Ooh. Okay, anyways, it stopped blinking. When you speak the words of the Lord, look what happens in your house, right? Okay, so the commentary is from the Degel Machane Ephraim, the grandson of the Baal Shem Tov. And he brings another verse that you're probably more familiar with, is surely goodness and mercy shall pursue me all the days of my life. In Hebrew, Achtov v'chesed yildafuni kol yemei chayai. It says that goodness and mercy shall pursue me. So it's not just once in the Torah, but twice. Twice that goodness pursues a person. So this is what the Baal Shem Tov says, and it's very, very, very interesting, is that there's two kinds of good in the world. There's two kinds of good. One is concealed good, and one is obvious good. Okay? So when I'm, an example of what a concealed good would be is something like when you go through a very, very, very difficult and painful breakup. A divorce, a breakup, okay, and you go through an entire year of pain, of heartbreak, you have nightmares, and it's terrible. And I'm saying a year, usually these things can take longer than a year, especially when the lawyers are involved, right? And custody battles, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, so do we see any good in this breakup? Do we see any good? No, of course not. 1 year I'm suffering. 1 year my heart is shattered into pieces, and you're coming and telling me it's a blessing? How dare you, right? I'm lonely, I'm paralyzed, and I stopped taking care of myself, right? But let's say after a year of the grieving, let's just say that after a year of the grieving that I get recruited to another part of the country to take on a job that apparently has better opportunity. But I go to take on this new job, and the environment of the job is healthy. The job turns into a permanent position. I get promoted, and now I'm making 2 or 3 times more than I did in my former job. But this is what we must consider. Had I stayed in the previous relationship, I know that my wife would have never, ever, ever agreed to be living in this part of the country. She would have never agreed to move. And I would have been stuck in the more expensive city and where the cost of living is through the roof and my salary is down here and the cost of living is here, right? So now that I'm making 2 or 3 times more money, I'm in a healthier environment. Now I'm able to attract a new partner in my life. And she's a God-fearing woman. She has traditional values. She loves marriage. She's low maintenance. She loves children. She just wants to serve God as my partner and be, with pride, a wife. With pride, she loves family. And now I have my dream family and my dream salary. And so now I look at the previous relationship, blessing or curse, right? So the Baal Shem Tov says, of course it was a blessing. In time when you look back, you can connect the dots and you can see that this was a blessing. But the blessing is what we call concealed good. The good you cannot see apparently. So now we go back to the verse that says when God blesses you, the blessings need to catch up to you. Why? What does this mean? That even when God decides to bless you, the promise is that even when you're running away because the good is concealed, even when you're running away from the pain, the loneliness, the difficulty, God says it doesn't matter. My goodness, my blessing, it will pursue you. You don't even have to try. It will pursue you, and it will. This is a promise. It will catch up to you. It will catch up to you, and the abundance, the mercy, the love, the new state of vibrational health and well-being, it is yours to claim because God will reach you with it. Okay? And so now I just want to go to the verse on the curse. Why does it say that the curses shall overtake you, shall reach you? So this is very interesting. In Hebrew, the word nasa, right, which means nasag, which means hisigucha, shall overtake you, shall catch up to you. It also means, it also implies when something reaches you that you finally get it, right? You finally are able to understand it. So again, Hashem is promising you that even when there's difficulty and pain and loss, and you're going through a very, very uncertain time in your life, that Hashem says that it will reach you, meaning in time, I will reach you, the curses will reach you, not as a punishment, but in a way that you're finally gonna get it. That what initially felt like a curse is never there to punish you, God forbid. But one day you're gonna be able to connect the dots to the story, and this is a promise. One day you'll be able to make sense of it all. So again, we have two promises of Hashem, that he will reach you and you will get it. Even in English, when you finally understand something, you say, I get it, right? Right, so, klipa kadma lepriya, that the husk and the shell precedes the fruit. That sometimes the bitterness, the difficulty, the struggle is necessary before we reach the fruit. So one day, the promise is that one day we'll reach a place where we don't have to run anymore, and that we can enjoy the fruits of our efforts. May that day come soon. May that moment be ours. Blessing you and I, Hashem, the one, the only one, the beautiful, compassionate, merciful one, has every intention to see us in better places, and he will navigate us to greener pastures. And may we continue to follow in his ways. Shalom.